Hi, Janet.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm here.
Hey, so I made you the co-host. You should be able to share your screen. Do you want to you want to test it out and see if that will work okay? And just,
Yeah, let me try it. Let's see. It's a new skill, so this is good. Let's see. Share screen. Is
okay.
that
Yeah, that
awesome?
looks great. I can see it. Okay, so it's really odd that there's not very many people on here yet. They're starting to come on and they will pour on. I'll have to just kind of keep track of letting people in, but I will just do a brief introduction and then turn the time to you so that you can have this time that you need to do your presenting. Let's see. If you want, go ahead and take screen share off right at the beginning, and I'll do introductions and then we'll just jump right in. Hey everybody, Heidi's on, Michelle's on. We're still waiting for people to jump on. I'm guessing we're going to get a big flood of people in the next 5 minutes. So how are you anyways?
I'm doing great. It's a good morning. I've got my kids off to school and we're
Good.
Okay.
So at the end, when you get done, I want to give people an opportunity to be able to connect with you. So just be thinking about that, what you want. Maybe you could just type something into the chat box at the end and give them either a website or an email address or something where they can get in contact with you if they have an interest in going down this road further.
And I do have a slide that has that on there too. If
Okay,
that's
good. Yeah, that'll be good. Welcome, welcome. I see Edith is on here. Our numbers are kind of small today. Usually we've got way more people on by now. So hopefully they will jump on shortly.
all right. People that are supposed to be here will be here. That's what I always say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The ones that need it, they'll hear it. I'm excited for you guys to get to listen to this. I'm excited to get to listen to it one more time. I did go through, I'm going to go through it again, but I did go through the webinar that you sent me on heart related, like how this technology can support all the different systems of the body, but specifically how she talked about it being for cardio. So I'm really excited about that. My husband and I are still talking about it. We've got a funeral to get through this week, and then once that slows down, we'll be able to jump more into it.
Yeah, life happens, and that's okay. We're just here to support each other.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Melissa. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you guys being on here. How's everybody's morning going? We've got like 2 minutes till we get to start, but how is everybody doing? Any wins? Anything going on? Anything anybody wants to share for a couple minutes? Patricia's on, Kelly's on. Good to see you guys jumping on. All right. Okay. So yeah, we've still got a couple minutes. I'm going to wait right until the top of the hour. Just
Will
for
you
this.
kind of watch the chat when I'm doing this, just so I don't miss anything? I don't know if I can see it while I'm sharing my screen, but just feel free to interrupt if anybody has a question or a comment.
Yeah, I will definitely be watching all of that stuff as well. And you guys feel free to take notes. Feel free to be open with your questions if you have questions for Alicia, because I'm sure it's going to intrigue many of you who have not learned about some of these technologies before. It's just so amazing to me, all of the many different ways that we can support our bodies. Through food, through frequency, through sound, through light, through color, and your company or the stuff that you're going to be teaching today covers 3 of those bases, which is pretty powerful.
Yeah, it's all connected. That's what I'm finding. Everything that heals us, everything that is truth and good and light,
Yeah,
it's all good.
yeah, it is all connected. Because we're holistic beings,
Exactly.
body, mind, and spirit. Okay, we've got lots of people jumping on now, so that's great. We're gonna go ahead. I want to just do a short introduction to my new friend, Alicia Humphreys. I can't remember how we met. I think it was through Tammy Anderson Ward, possibly through the,
Have been- We've known
yeah,
each other for like 3 years on Facebook, and I've followed you and love your work, but we
yeah.
haven't really gotten to talk until recently.
So I'm grateful that we had an opportunity to talk on the phone a couple of times. I just
Yeah.
love your energy. I love your soul. I love your mission. I really, really, I I have a passion for this kind of thing. I have a passion for anything that can help support us better on the planet, especially right now where we have frequencies and sounds and technologies that are being used against us. To be
Yeah.
able to combat that is this is really powerful, and I'm super excited to get to share you with my community and give everybody here the opportunity to kind of get a feel for what this technology can actually do for their bodies. Alicia is going to be sharing with you guys today how the powerful combination of light and color and frequency and even sound sometimes can be incorporated into that. How these things, these in harmony, can help support the body and bring balance to the organs and functions and systems of your body, and to induce what do we call it, an immune response, or like activate a healing response in the body, so that the body can find its way back to balance again.
Yes.
And so if any of you who are just now jumping on, if you deal with inflammation or pain or anxiety or depression or any kind of imbalance in your body, or any, like I just came through a heart attack. And so I'm very curious about how this can help support my circulatory system, how it can help me with better blood flow. And so I'm eager to share Alicia with you guys today. I've made her co-host. She's going to share a slide presentation, and she's going to teach you some of these principles about this powerful technology. And then at the end, she will also be sharing how you guys can reach out to her to find out more information. If this is something that you think could really support your physical health, your mental health, and your physical body in any way, shape, or form, and you feel something resonate inside of you, please don't hesitate to reach out to Alicia or myself, and I can direct you in that way. Also, just for housekeeping this morning, before we actually jump in and get started, if any of you would like to have the replay of this class emailed to your inbox, then you can go to janetthurgood.com and just type in your name and your email, and you'll be put on my email list if you're not already. Many of you guys already are. If you got the invite to this class through email, then you're on my list, and it will be emailed out probably tomorrow. If any of you feel a higher calling to do this work and would love to learn more about quantum restoration technique and become a certified leader in the principles that I teach, you can also go to greaterlife.greaterimpact.com, and you can find out more information there. With that being said, we're going to turn the time over to Alicia to introduce herself just a little bit and your topic, and then you can share screen when you're ready.
All right. Thank you so much, Janet. And I am so grateful to have connected with you, and grateful for the work that you do, spreading light in the world. That's what you're doing. That's what we're all trying to do for each other. So as for who I am, I'm Alicia Humphreys. I work with harmonic light therapy, and I help people as clients with sessions. I help people get light therapy in their homes for their families. I help people get it in their practice to use. for their clients, and I coach them to help them to be able to choose the right frequencies and colors and get further education. That's something that our company is really big about, is helping people to continue to learn, because there is so much to learn. There's so much we're learning every week about light and frequency and energy and how it supports our body. And it's been there all the time. That's the thing. It was created by God, this is here for us. And I think innately we all know that we need light in our lives, but we're just barely discovering and scratching the surface of what it can do for us and how we can access that. So let me share my screen with you. Get this started here. Can you see that? You'll have to tell me if you can hear me okay. I have a little bit of a quiet voice. So I never thought that I would be a practitioner. I grew up in a very holistic home. And so thinking about holistic health has always been part of my life. But I'm a mom of 7 kids and a wife. And, most of my life has been pretty involved in just taking care of my kids. I've homeschooled most of them for the last 20 years. And so that's been my life and my focus. But like a lot of us, I had a healing crisis that brought me to new understanding. And when you find something that really helps you heal, then you want to share it. And so that's how I kind of got into this work. And you're nodding your head, Janet. I know that has probably been the case in your life too. So some of our trials become our greatest blessings, I find. And that's what has happened to me with light. So as we're beginning, I want you to just think about, what light means to you. And feel free to put in the chat if you want to. When you think of the word light, what comes to mind? For me, I think I've always been attracted to light. I always knew that it felt good to me, but I didn't know how much it could do for my body and my soul. I just knew that it felt like food to me. There's a lot of words that we think of in our vocabulary that have to do with light, like enlightenment. The light is truth. And think about light as fun, maybe. People that are full of light, and when they walk into a room, you can see them light up the room. We want to be those people, right? So light is connected with good, beautiful, true things. And I think that's a clue for us. And everything that is good in life is light. So this is my family. There's a lot of us, obviously. This is us pretty recently. My youngest is 6 and my oldest is 24 years old. And this is the reason why I got into light therapy. It was because of my family. I may have dealt a little bit with depression before I had kids, but when I started having children, then it really brought into focus the depression and anxiety. And I started spiraling down shortly after my first child, that's next to me in this picture, shortly after he was born. And he had some problems. We later found out that he has autism, but it took us a while because he's very high functioning and very intelligent. So he pretty much cried the whole first year, and he had colic and a lot of digestive issues and just a lot of problems. And so the whole first year was a haze, and I was pretty much in postpartum depression, but then I just didn't seem to come out of it. I learned to cope, and we kept moving forward. Obviously, we kept having children. I'm a little crazy like that. I just figured it can only get better, and we're going to figure this out. And then I'll start feeling like myself again, and I'll be able to be happy. But I kept plugging along and kept not feeling that joy, even though I was really trying to be present for my kids. And that's always been the biggest goal of my life, was just to be a really good mom, be really present. I was homeschooling, for goodness sakes, and just trying to give everything that I could to my family. But I found myself hiding in my room a lot because I was just trying to get my bearings. I wanted to be the kind of mom that I had always envisioned. And I was finding that everything was setting me off. I was getting so stressed out by little tiny things. I was crying a lot. And, so I would go in my room and I'd try to get my Zen on. I would pray, I would read my scriptures, I would meditate, I would say positive affirmations. And I tried a lot of things over the years. I tried, supplements. I tried like I said, meditation and affirmations, and I saw counselors and coaches, and I tried exercising, and all those things are good. I tried taking time for myself, and I tried a lot of different things that helped a little tiny bit, but they didn't get that underlying rock in my stomach and that cloud over my head to go away. And so about the time that I had my sixth child, I have seven, my husband was finally like, I really think you ought to see a counselor about getting some antidepressants. And I was like, no way, I'm not doing that, because I grew up very holistic minded. We did things natural. I've had all my kids at home, and always just doctored ourselves at home, and that worked great for me for everything else. And I wasn't going to do that. I was really afraid. And, that may be the answer sometimes for people. I'm not knocking that at all. But I really wanted to find a solution that would feel good to me, that would be healthy without side effects, that I could feel good about. So I was praying at this time that I would find something to help me get out of this darkness that I was carrying around. And that's when I found the light. And what I learned through my trial before I found a solution, that many of you maybe have learned as well, is that our healing affects so many more people than us. It's so important for us to invest whatever time and effort and resources that we need into being whole, so that we can be there for our loved ones and for ourselves. And I love this quote that says, "Every woman who heals herself heals her children's children." And that is the gift that light therapy has been giving to me. So when I found the light, it was just kind of a funny way that I found it. I went to this conference, and they were doing this weird thing in the vendor area. They had these people that were relaxed in these reclining chairs, and they had these lights on their eyes and their bodies. And it looked really weird to me, honestly, but I kept being drawn to it. And I was like, I got to try that. So I tried a session of this harmonic light, and it took about 20 minutes. And when I got up from that 20-minute session, it was like this dark cloud had been lifted off my brain and my body. I was present in my body for the first time in ages. And I felt peaceful and energized at the same time. And I didn't know that was possible, because before that, I just always was only energized when I was in that fight or flight mode, which was pretty much all the time. And peace was pretty hard to find. So that was amazing. And I was like, I wonder if that could happen again. And I want to say that, not everybody has this dramatic experience the first time that they try light therapy. But for me, it was very, very noticeable. And for most people, they do feel something shift. So I decided that I was going to try these lights in my home. They have a rental program where you can get the lights in your home, and everybody in the family can try them as much as you want. And they have education along with it. So I was able to learn a little bit about the colors and how to use it. And by the end of the first week, my family, my husband and my kids were telling me, "You're nicer, Mom, and I like those lights, and you should do that more often." And, my husband was like, "Yeah, we really need this in our home. We need you to be here with us. We need you to be like this." And I was handling the stress. It's not that the stress was gone. We can't get rid of stress in our lives. There's always things that happen, but I could handle things better. Just in that first week, we noticed that. So we decided that this was something that we needed in our home for our family and for me. And I have used these lights ever since, every day. And you can see the pictures here. My little ones use this too. We use this for our whole family. This is like our wellness toolbox. and they love it. Little kids, they know what's good for them. Kids and animals, they don't have all these preconceived ideas. And so they're very drawn to light. And they know that if they feel owie or sick or worried or they can't sleep or they just need to feel better, that they can come use the lights. And it's a very safe, gentle thing. And that's another thing that I love, that they can use that and I don't have to worry about if it's going to be dangerous or side effects or anything like that. So let's talk about why light works like this. We are essentially beings of light. We are made of light. You can actually take pictures with special cameras. Scientists have been able to take pictures of our cells glowing. And it's the same with plants. Plants glow too. Every living thing has light in it. And we emit light and we also take in light. That's a food for our cells and our souls. And it's so important. And it's something that we are pretty disconnected with. I think in past societies, they were more agrarian, they were outside working the land, and we do not live that way anymore. And it's something we need, like water and food and air, to survive physically, spiritually, and mentally. But we're very disconnected with that in our current way of living. But this is how our cells communicate, is through light. We have these fiber optic channels, kind of, that's a way of seeing it. Kind of like the way that our cell towers and everything, they connect to each other and they send information through light and energy. And our bodies do that too. Our brains are sending signals through light, through our cells, and they're informing our DNA and sending information through our body all the time. And a lot of that information is affected by the frequencies that are around us and the frequencies that we choose to focus on and take in, and also what we give out, like with our words and our thoughts as well. But this light is the way that we communicate and the way that our bodies work and heal themselves. So something that I'm really grateful that my mother taught me, and that has come, it's born true in everything that I've learned since then with learning the science about light and our bodies, is that our bodies are designed to heal. Every cell in our body is designed to regenerate itself. And so there's no part of our body that I believe that can't heal if it's provided with the right environment and the right nutrients. And sometimes that's a difficult process to figure out how to do that and what it needs. But light is a nutrient that it needs. The environment that we need to heal is a meditative state. We got to get out of fight or flight. We've got to give it that environment in which it's not putting all its energy towards fighting off the stress and the imaginary lions in our head, but it's able to put that energy towards healing. And light actually helps re-energize the batteries of our cells to do that, like it's designed to do. And you talked a little bit about this at the beginning, Janet, how we're fighting all these difficult frequencies that are not good for our bodies. They're all around us. So we're deficient in healthy light because we're not close to nature anymore. And we're being stressed all the time by light and frequencies that we can't see. So there is unhealthy light out there, and there's unhealthy frequencies all around us. We've got cell phones, we've got X-rays and Wi-Fi all around us. We've got stuff in our food that is messing with our food. Our food should be full of light, ideally. If we're eating close to nature, that food is grown in light. Even the animals, they're taking in light all the time. But our food is not what it used to be. And we have a lot of artificial things and preservatives and pesticides in our food. We just have to turn on the news to be surrounded by low vibrational thinking and bad news and, thoughts that don't help us and bring us up. We've got UV rays and other things that are not so great for our bodies. We've got pollution in our air and our water, and we're disconnected from what we should be and who we are. So, what do? Do we just throw in the towel? No, we want to increase the light that we have in our lives. We want to surround ourselves and take in positive, healthy light and healthy frequencies. And that's the work that we're doing. That's the work that Janet's doing in the world, is helping us to increase the light that we emit to others and the light that we bring into our bodies and our souls and the frequencies. We want to raise those vibrations so that we can be healthier beings. And when we have more positive, then that can outweigh all the negative that we have around us. So we don't have to give up. So this is a really hard slide to see, and I want to get a better picture of it for you someday, but this is what I've got. A lot of people ask, isn't light, some of these lights are bad for you? Some wavelengths are bad for us. And how do we know what kind of light is good for us? So on one end of the spectrum, we've got like radio waves, and on the other end, we've got gamma rays and X-rays and UV rays and things like that don't cause good things to happen in our bodies. But in the middle here, we've got this Goldilocks zone of light. And this is actually the light colors that we can see. This is the range of visible light to near visible. There are some really beneficial rays that are near visible light as well. They're the colors that have been found to be healthy and beneficial to our bodies. The ones that are studied the most right now are red for sure, and near infrared. That's a near visible range of light. But they are also still studying blue light and green now, and even amber, and finding so many amazing, there's so many studies. If you want to study for yourself, you can go to pubmed.org, I think, or is it .gov? It's PubMed. It's a whole clearinghouse of studies, and just put in low-level light therapy or photobiomodulation. Those are the fancy scientific words for light therapy. And you can look up particular colors, say low-level light therapy and neuropathy, or low-level light therapy and depression, or whatever it is that you want to look up. And you'll probably find a study about light therapy, because there's so much going on now, and they're finding it's so effective and without dangers, without risks and side effects. So this is the kind of light that you want in your life. And our bodies are designed to receive light in so many different ways. Obviously, we receive light through our eyes and into our brains. We receive light through our food, hopefully, if we're eating close to nature, light-filled foods. Our bodies are designed to receive light through the skin, and most people don't realize that light actually goes clear down into the marrow of the bone and the brain tissue, and it affects us deeply that way. And then again, we receive light in our energy field as well. And that, of course, is something that we're still learning a lot about in science world, but it's something that we know intuitively. So talking about receiving light through the eyes, just a single photon of light hitting the back of our retina will light up our whole brain. And our pineal gland that sits in the very middle of our head, that is such an important receptor of light. We receive that through, both light on our skull and through our eyes. And that gland just does so much in synchronizing our rhythms, our natural rhythms, our hormones, our sleep schedules, our moods, our intuition. And most of us, because of the lifestyles that we lead, the things that we eat, and all the environmental factors, and not having enough healthy light, our pineal glands are calcified over, and they need to be cleaned and opened. And that is one of the actions of light, especially the red and near infrared light that will go deep into the brain tissue. But we actually use red and blue together in our eye mask, because blue is very calming, red is very energizing, and when we use them together, then it balances the central nervous system, and it helps to open up that pineal gland. So when I was dealing with depression and anxiety, and I would put that eye mask on along with other light on my body, it was helping to open up and balance my brain and all of those systems And I feel like my intuition is different too. I intuitively know more what's right for me to eat. And, my creativity is greater. And of course, all of that's connected. When you don't have depression all the time, then that helps with that too. But it's all connected and it's so important. Again, these are some of the things that the pineal gland helps to govern for us. And it's connected, I feel, to our spirituality too. It's the center of our third eye. So if you believe in chakras and those energy systems, that's a very important piece as well. This particular stat right here, the 95% of all disease is caused by stress. I love to divide that word, dis-ease, because that's really what it is. That's what disease is. There's a lot of factors, there's genetics and stuff like that, but all of it really, I think, comes down to some kind of stress, whether it's physical or emotional. And we can't avoid stress, but if we can find tools to help us balance and handle stress so that we don't go into fight or flight all the time, or we can get out of it. Most of us are living in fight or flight 24/7. But if we can get out of that state and into a meditative state, that's where our body heals. But as long as we're trying to heal, no matter what we're throwing at it, all the supplements we take and all the things that we do, if we are in stress mode during that time, that's where our body's putting the energy. And it's really hard for our bodies to come up with the energy to heal ourselves. So our autonomic nervous system, that's what the ANS stands for, is controlled by light and sound impulses. And so it's such a powerful thing. And we just are not even aware about it in our society. There's so much light and sound that we put in that's not so good. And I love this because light therapy is a very simple and easy way to just receive positive light and frequency. You don't have to know everything about why you got the way that you did. And you don't even have to understand all the science. You can just lay back and receive this light, and it really takes you out of fight or flight so fast. I love that. I like to call it meditation for dummies, or people who are really smart, because it's really smart and important for us to be in a meditative state every day. They've done studies that have shown that just 20 minutes a day in a meditative state totally changes the function, the way that your brain works. It changes the picture of your health in so many dramatic ways. So whether you use light therapy or something else, I just encourage you to find a way to get into that meditative state. And that's what I was doing before I found light therapy, but I was doing it unsuccessfully, and it was really frustrating. I actually had a coach that told me that if I would just take 3 minutes and quiet my mind for 3 minutes a day, then I would see huge changes. And I believe her. That was true, but I could not do it. I couldn't even do 30 seconds. My mind would not shut off before I tried light therapy. Maybe some of you can relate to that, or maybe mine was just really extra, but I think that's a hard thing for us right now, to quiet our minds. And it's important to practice, however you get to that. So the light also comes to us through our skin. And I love this slide because it kind of helps you to see some of the things that the colors do and the depth that they reach. So blue light's really important. It doesn't go as deep. It goes into our skin level, skin tissue level, and a little bit below. But blue light is very important for cleansing. It helps with bacteria and viruses and funguses, and which I found a factor also in my depression. I had candida. And so having blue light on my gut and also other areas of my body really helped with that. But it's also very calming and effective with mood disorders. It's very helpful for just calming. And then green, that's just barely being studied for the first time recently, but it's one of my favorite colors to use. It is the color of the heart chakra. To me, it brings the feeling of walking in a green forest. even if I'm not looking at it, just having that color on my body, pulsing into my body is very calming. But they've also found that it's very good for pain relief and helping in other ways, like with liver cells and gallbladder. And there are different organs that are associated with that color. And it goes a little bit deeper than the blue. The red goes even deeper into the muscle tissues. And then near infrared goes clear into the marrow of the bone to help that bone regenerate. We're regenerating from the inside out. And I've seen some interesting things happen with my friends. I have a good friend who's in her 80s, and she's been using light therapy for a long time. She used to have to take vitamin D all the time. She was showing signs of osteoporosis and bone loss, but she had some tests done recently, and they're like, I don't think you need that anymore. Your bones look great. They have been able to regenerate. And so these are things that we can do. We don't have to resign ourselves that we have to be a certain way because we get older. We can feed our bodies this good light and it will regenerate in many ways. The red and near infrared is amazing for helping us with pain and inflammation, circulation. And we're going to talk about some of the other things that they've found with this light. So red light in particular supports our soft tissue health and increases our energy, and it lowers our inflammation and enhances circulation. These are things that the FDA has told us that we can claim because they've studied it. Obviously, the FDA doesn't know everything, but those are some of the things that we can claim. Blue light is also FDA cleared for cleansing. It's shown to kill bacteria, virus, and mold. And so we have light that is actually really good for, we have a mask for acne that helps to heal and cleanse the skin. And then near infrared light, this is really powerful. It relieves pain, enhances regeneration and detoxification. And because it goes so deep, it activates regeneration really deeply and powerfully. And when you combine these together, this is something they're starting to study more, but we've known this for a while, is that when you combine these colors of light, then they work together, just like the red and the blue helps balance our nervous system. So I'm not going to get too sciencey here, but you guys have probably studied ATP and science in high school and stuff. So light is activating that battery and the energy of our cells so that it can do its best work. Now, this is something that is really important. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of nitric oxide, or I know there's supplements out there that people take of nitric oxide, but this is something that our bodies naturally produce in our bloodstream and in our vessels. And it's really important. It does so many things, as you can see here. And light activates the production of nitric oxide in ourselves. And that's something that I love. Like, we worry sometimes about taking too much of a vitamin or a supplement, or our bodies not being able to process it. But if our bodies are designed to manufacture those vitamins or those substances in our bodies, then they're going to be in the perfect place, in the perfect amount, in a way that our bodies can assimilate them. And that's what happens with the nitric oxide production when we put lights on our body. They've shown that is being produced in those areas that we put the light. They've also done a lot of studies about brain regeneration. And this is exciting to me because there's so many people that are suffering from, traumatic brain injuries and concussions. And then we also have people that are suffering from decline, the Alzheimer's, and losing their memories. And they've been able to show in a lot of amazing studies how low-level light, particularly using near infrared and red light, because that goes so deep, is helping people to remember things. They did a study on Alzheimer's patients, and they didn't actually do a lot of light therapy. I think they only did it once a week for a period of months. They had people that were writing their names who had forgotten their names. They had people that were recovering their memories. And I think that's really powerful. And obviously, Here at the bottom, it talks about seasonal affective disorder, but also non-seasonal depression, which I had. It was definitely worse in the winter, but it was always there. And they're seeing that light, they can prove this now, that light therapy is helpful for that, as well as things like ADHD and all these other disorders that we have. There's just imbalances in our brain, and we need to clear out that calcification in the pineal gland. We need to feed our brains with light and help activate the energy that's in there, and then they can start healing themselves.
Alicia, we have a question from Heidi who's asking, can you get a bit of these results by using the sunlight? Do you need the lights that you're talking about to get these kinds of results?
Okay, so I think certainly it would be good to get out in the sunlight, and that can definitely be helpful. I live in the northern hemisphere, and a lot of days there's either cloud cover or it's snowing or raining, or there's also pollution that gets in the way. And then I'm also a redhead, so I can't be out very long or I get sunburned. And these lights don't sunburn you, so that's a really good thing for me. Um, I would definitely recommend getting out in nature as much as you can. But for me, that was not enough. I did try to get outside and it did help a little bit, but it wasn't as powerful as this. This is for one thing, you can be consistent with it because you can do it no matter what the weather is. I have it by my bed and it's part of my daily routine. And then it's very focused. It's just the wavelengths of light that are good for you. And they're very powerful and focused, and I can do it in 20 minutes time and get so much more benefit than I do when I spend a day outside, which usually drains me because I'm a redhead and I get sunburned, but definitely I always recommend, this isn't a replacement for nature. You need to get out in nature too. That's important. I hope that kind of answers your question. So let's see, I'm going to maybe skip over this, but there's a lot of studies just to give you an idea. There's studies on pretty much everything that you can think of with light. Now, I love this one because this was a group of people that were in a therapeutic learning center, and they all had some kind of mental, emotional difficulties, as well as pain. And they were able to see so many amazing things. Some of them were able to get off of antidepressants while under supervision with the doctor. You always want to, do that under supervision. But they were able to get out and be with people and live their lives. And that was what happened for me. So this is my son. One of the things that was cool that happened beyond the blessing for me with light therapy, he's the one that has high functioning autism, and he was really not doing well around his junior year of high school. He was staying in bed. I could not get him up to go to school, or he was my one that was in school, and I couldn't get him to eat. That was a really big concern. Like, he would not eat anything, and I really could see him starving to death. I would bring food to him and let him have it in his room, and he still wasn't eating. He just was not having a whole lot of will to live, honestly. And he's not real open sometimes to things that are mom's idea. So maybe you have kids like that. But I would bring the lights into his room every morning because he wouldn't do it if I just suggested it. So I'd bring him to him. I would pull his covers off. I would put the lights on his body and turn them on, and then I would leave the room, and he would growl at me, but he left him there. And after weeks of him just not coming out of his room and refusing to eat and refusing to go anywhere, he would get up on those days that I brought him light, and he would come and look for food in the fridge, and he would talk to people. And that was huge. I really feel like that it might have saved his life during that time. He's still stubborn about doing things that I suggest, but it's really been a blessing for our family to have this tool for him as well. One of the things we also noticed with light is that we do not get sick as much. We had one year when it seemed like everybody around us was getting sick, and I had 7 little kids, and germs pass around your family really quickly when there's that many people, but we never got sick that whole winter, and we hardly ever do anymore. And I think it's because the light really helps our cells not only to open up and release toxins easily, but also to assimilate the nutrition that we're trying to put into our bodies. Sometimes we're taking in good food and supplements and things, and it's just going straight out and we're not getting as much as we need. So light helps us to open ourselves.
Alicia, we have another question from Kim Measle. She's asking, how long was your son under the lights? How did you
It's just
process?
a 20-minute session. Most of our sessions with our light systems are just about 20 minutes. So that's all I did. I probably should have done it even more times per day, but that was all that I could find time to haul it to his room and then bring it back. So, but it was powerful.
Yeah.
So this is something that has been used all over the world forever. And even like ancient times, they used light and color, but the science world is starting to discover it as well. You know, many of you have probably seen where little babies from a long time ago, they were using light to help them to produce more bilirubin or process that with jaundice in the hospitals. They've used light to disinfect for a long time. And you'll see it more and more now in the doctor's offices and the dentists and the estheticians and the chiropractors and the physical therapists. They're using light to help people with pain and recovery and burns and all kinds of things. It works and it's gentle and safe. So these are some of the things that we can claim about light according to the FDA. You know, a lot of people with arthritis love it. I have friends who have had back pain for years and years, and they were getting to the point where they had to give up their livelihoods, their jobs, because it was too active, or their hobbies that they loved. And when they got the lights and started using them, then they were able to go back to work and they were able to go back to doing the things that they loved again. And that's such a blessing. There's so many things that the quality of life is increased. So let's talk about frequency now. We haven't really talked about that too much, even though light is a frequency in itself. But when we pulse light, this is something that makes what I work with a little bit unique. You may have seen different light things out there, but most of them are not using frequency as well. So in our system, then we're pulsing the light at vibrational frequencies, and we have a whole bunch of different ones that we can use so that we're able to really pinpoint what it is that we need. So we have frequencies that are energizing and frequencies that are relaxing and calming, and some that are specific to muscles, and some that are specific to bones, and some that are specific to emotional healing. And those are things that we've been able to find through science. People have been able to actually measure, like they can measure the vibrational frequency of a healthy liver cell. And all of our body is designed to be vibrating at vibrational frequencies that are healthy, but a lot of us are out of tune, just like a musical instrument can get out of tune, and we're not vibrating at that frequency anymore. And then that's when we're sick, and that's when we're depressed. And if we can get back into that resonance that we're designed to vibrate at, then we feel good again. And they found this is what this guy is saying. I think this is a book, Sonotherapy. I don't have it, but I've listened to him speak before. He is a researcher about frequency and light together. And he's found that pulse light is more penetrating and effective than just light on its own, because we're using frequency. And most of you probably have heard of Masaru Emoto. I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right. And his studies about water and the effect of frequency is basically what it is on water molecules. He took pictures of them. So frequency is in our music. Music is frequency, and the words that we speak. If we speak hate, then that is a frequency. And if we speak love, then that's a frequency, and affects the molecules. The water molecules change in response to that frequency. So if you think about how much water do we have in our bodies are mostly water. And frequency is affecting all the other things in our bodies too. But if you can change the molecular structure of your body in a positive way with frequency, how powerful is that? So if you have light that's being pulsed at harmonic frequencies, that's going to support your cellular repair and regeneration. It's a nutrient to your cells, just like food and water and air. It helps tune your body and mind and spirit, just like you're tuning an instrument. It's non-invasive. It helps you to heal yourself. That's what it is. I always tell people, we're not healing you with the lights. Your body's healing yourself, but we're just providing the nutrients and the environment to help that body to have what it needs, the energy that it needs to heal. So I like this picture of the tuning fork because that's a way that we can understand what's happening here. If you've ever seen how a tuning fork works, it vibrates at a certain frequency, and then it causes things across the room to vibrate at that same frequency. And when we pulse a positive vibrational frequency into our bodies with light or music or positive words or any of those things, then our cells in our body will respond in kind. They will vibrate at that frequency, and it helps to tune us up to where we ought to be again. This is a French neurologist that studied frequency, and he was one of the ones that helped to identify, like, what does a healthy liver cell vibrate at, or a healthy heart, or what is the vibration of peace or love or joy? And they were actually able to say, this is this amount of hertz that it's vibrating at. And then we are able to use that information in our systems. And it helps us to heal more quickly. These are some of the hertz values that he found that we use in our systems. So 73 hertz helps with our hormones and our immunity. This is a favorite of mine, using for inflammation and infection and mental health. I like this setting too. We have stuff for our GI tract, our metabolism, bones and joints, our brain. I love this one too. It helps to balance the brain. This one is neat. This 4,698 hertz. This will help with calcification. People who have arthritis and a lot of calcium deposits and stuff will find that this can help to break that up. And it also helps with calcification of our pineal gland that we talked about. These are just some examples of emotional frequencies that they have found that helps. A lot of you guys have probably heard of 528 hertz, or this one's not on there, but 432 is a favorite. And that's also part of our system that I like to use a lot. It's 432 hertz. That's a frequency of love and of peace and joy and emotional healing. And that's usually where I start, honestly, with people, even if they have a major physical issue. We start with the emotional frequencies because we've got to get out of fight or flight, and we've got to get our hearts right. And then our bodies respond in kind when we're at peace. This is way more information than you probably want, but we actually have a programmable system so that if you know what frequencies you want to use, then you can type those in and the lights will pulse at the frequencies that you want. And we have sweeps that will take you through several different frequencies in that 20 minutes to help tune up your body in certain ways. So like we have a chakra balancing sweep that goes through all these hertz values. We have ones for like autoimmune support and allergies. And it's not that any of these we're not claiming to cure anything or, diagnose or whatever. But these are frequencies that have been found to be supportive for those things. You can use them for other things too. And this is a resource. Here's this electroherbalism frequency list. It's actually free online if anyone wants to go look at it. It's not put out by my company or anything, but that is one of the resources that they use to research and choose the frequencies that we use. So you can find that online. So I wanted to show you just kind of some of the ways that we use harmonic frequencies with these tools. So you see, here at the bottom, there's a guy that's putting light on his knee. You can put light anywhere on your body, anywhere that it needs it. We have an eye mask. We have a couple different kinds of eye masks. This is the red and blue one that I talked about that helps to balance your brain and your nervous system. But I've put the eye mask on other places on my body too. You can use them anywhere. This lady, most of the time, most light sessions look like this with this lady that is reclining. Some people sleep, a lot of people fall asleep, honestly, doing the lights because it's so relaxing. But she has an eye mask on her eyes. She's got light on her hands, and your hands and feet are great receptors of light. So there's lots of pressure points and connections there. I usually will flip the light over and put it on my belly or on the client's belly, and then also a light on the back, the lower back, because then we're wrapping all of those governing organs, the kidneys and the liver and the adrenals and the digestive system. And there's a artery that goes through your body that's there. And in that 20 minutes, all of the blood in your body will have flowed through that area and gotten lit up. So even if you don't have light on a particular area of the body, then you may feel effects of light because the blood cells are bringing that light energy to all of the areas in your body. And then she has one on the nape of her neck, and I like to put light there too, because we all like to carry stress on our shoulders and our necks, and it's very relaxing. So that's what most light sessions for my clients look like, something like that. But you can put light anywhere. And then you see up here in the left-hand top corner, we also have our chakra wand. I have that here too. We have all the different colors of the chakras. This one actually has an added color that I love, that is the turquoise high heart. It helps you to speak from the heart. So you're supporting both the throat chakra and the heart chakra. But we have different heads that go on it, and that one vibrates at 432 hertz. It's not able to do all of the different frequencies that we do with our other systems, but that is a cool tool that a lot of people love to use, especially people who work with foot zoning or reflexology. They like using our chakra wand for that too. And then obviously light is energy and frequency is energy. So another way that we use light therapy is through the energy field. Some of you may do energy work remotely, like you don't have to be in the room with someone to be able to help them and to send energy and to feel energy, right? And that's a little bit out there of an idea for some people. But if you think about, like, when we are on our phones, we're talking to someone on the other side of the world. We can't see them. And there's energy that's being exchanged that's helping us to talk to each other. And that is what's happening when we send a light session. So sometimes my kids are busy or they just don't want to take the time. So honestly, even with my own children that are in my house, sometimes I will send them a light session. And often I will send a distance session to people that can't meet with me with intention. And there's been some pretty amazing things that have happened from that. I was a little skeptical because I didn't understand energy, and I'm still learning, but I wasn't sure if this would work. But other people were talking about doing distance sessions. And I'm like, well, it's worth a try. You know, I pray for people. It's okay if maybe I could add the lights to that intention. And they have had some pretty amazing results of what they feel when we're doing that light session.
So Alicia, Kim says that's not far out there for this group.
I figured if they were with them, then they're probably learning about that.
Yeah, we totally understand that concept, that there really are no boundaries, especially when intention is involved. So
yeah.
Megan says, I believe it. I call divine light down for myself and for others all the time. So yeah.
Yes. And that's a powerful thing that you can do. Even before I found light therapy, there was a time that I had like a dental abscess. And what I was inspired to do was to just spend the day in bed, imagining and receiving light into that area and breathing out darkness. And that was like my first experience with light therapy that was just kind of inspired by God for me to experience that. That was a lot of focus and effort that was required for me to do that. Maybe I would get better at it if I did it all the time. But this is nice because I can just lay there and receive it, and it does it for me. And obviously it's good to be intentional, and it's good to do all of those things. But sometimes we just need to receive. And then when we can get our bodies out of fight or flight and we get into that that relaxed state, then we're ready to go to work and figure out, what are my thoughts and what has got me into this mess and what do I need to do different. But I know that coming from where I was trying to fix my problems through effort, that just put me more in fight or flight. So I had to have something that would just really serve me and feed me before I had the energy to work on those things.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So Edith is asking, when you did that thing with your tooth, did you think of a specific color?
I'm trying to remember. It was a long time ago. I think I thought of white mainly, and that white has all the colors, so that makes sense.
Okay.
It may have changed as I went along, but I think that's a good exercise to do. Like if you don't have light therapy, you can totally, go outside and be in nature, but also ask for guidance and imagine light going into the parts of your body that feel dark and are hurting, and use your breath too. That was a powerful thing to do. And I think that is powerful.
Yeah.
So this is probably something that you guys have heard before. I love this idea that if you match the frequency of the reality that you want, you cannot help to get that reality. And that's physics. The science is starting to understand that everything is energy, and we're energy. We're made of light. If you want to do more research on this, there is an author that's great. He's not connected to any particular light product or company or anything that I know of, but he has a couple books. He has even more than this, I think, but Jacob Lieberman. He has done several books about light and using light to heal. So I would check that out. And then if you want to go to lumiceuticals.com, that's the brand of lights that we use, and they have a lot of studies on there about light therapy too that you can read. Just bringing back to the idea of being in a meditative state, and we've talked about this, but whatever you can do, whether it's light therapy, whether it's something else, to be in that meditative state, that is going to be the most powerful thing you can do for any other type of healing. It will work together and magnify whatever else you are trying to do to heal. I don't know if you wanted to go here yet or have some questions. This is how you can get in touch with me. These are the things that I offer. This is my website down here at the bottom, and my email, my phone number even. You all have my phone number now. So you can text me with questions. But there's a lot of
free, everybody, to take a screenshot if you need to, so that if you would like maybe to try the 2-week trial in home. I actually am leaning towards that. I'm trying to get my husband on board. And if this is something that resonates with you, you feel like this would support your body better, then please do reach out to Alicia and let her know that you want to move forward.
And I do want to offer you guys a gift if that's possible.
Yeah, go ahead.
Since you're here and listening, I wanted to give you the $50 off discount code for a 2-week trial, if you would like to try that. And you can find that at that website there at lumiceuticals.com / I think it's not a dash or whatever that thing is, Alicia Humphreys. Or you can text me with questions as well.
Okay. And so people are asking about the cost and everything. I don't know that we're going to go into that. I think the best way, if you want to know how to purchase a system for your home or what it's going to take to actually get the 2-week trial in your home for a short time so you can use it and experience, it's very inexpensive to do the 2-week trial. So there's your cost. I think the best way to get those questions answered is to reach out to Alicia and maybe just have that phone conversation with her. But
any other questions that you have?
Yeah, are there any other questions that you guys have before we close it out? I think we are right at the top of the hour. So yeah, you did good. Like we're just right almost at the top of the hour. Are there any final takeaways or any last words that you want to wrap this up with, Alicia?
I guess the biggest thing that I always want to share with people is just to whatever it is that you need, to heal, that you make that a priority. That is important to all the people that you serve, and find a way to get more light in your life, whether that is going outside more, playing good music, raising the vibration of the thoughts and the words that you speak and the people that you surround yourself with. You're doing a great job surrounding yourself with these people here. I can tell this is a light work that you're doing that
So
makes
we have
that.
one final request. Shauna's asking if you could put up that last screen with the prices on it for the 2-week in-home trial.
Mhm.
That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
And the code, if you guys want to use the $50 off code, is discount 50. That's all one word. I think it's capitalized on the D for discount.
Okay.
And I love it because we give you education through it all. I would get on the phone with you a couple times during that time, and anytime you had questions, we talk about, what are your health needs? What are your goals? And what frequencies and colors and pad placement would be good for you. And we kind of fine tune it for you. And then you get emails that are talking about, this is what blue light does. This is what red light does. This is some frequency settings you can try just to kind of get you started so that you know what you're doing with it. It's very simple to use. My kids will go and turn it on for themselves and put it on their bodies. But the more intentional you can be about it and understanding what it does, then the better it is for you. And we never leave you alone to figure that out. There's always education.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This was fascinating for me. I'm fascinated by it because I've been studying about light and frequency and sound and color and these kinds of things for the last couple of years. I've been working with an ex-professor of BYU who studied sacred geometry and all of that kind of stuff, and then also took it upon himself to start studying the sound and light therapy and music therapy, how this kind of all integrates and goes together. So this is a passion of mine as well. And I was just so grateful to connect with you, Alicia. I appreciate that you took the time out of your busy schedule to come and teach us, and then
That's
also
a pleasure. Thank
give
you
a
so
generous
much.
gift. Kim says, yes, doing sound healing courses right now, which is all related. Yes. Yeah, it all ties in together. Can you imagine doing this kind of light therapy with music therapy and all of that incorporated into it too? This is a powerful healing tool. I know a lot of you guys on here are healers. You have a toolbox full of tools that you use on a regular basis. This is definitely something that you could add to your practice. You could add to what you already do to serve people, just taking it a step further. We're just offering you guys some really great things that are out there and available for you as you serve the world on their healing journeys. So thank you again, Alicia. We really appreciate you spending the time with us today, and hopefully you'll come back.
Oh, I'd love to.
We can probably do this again at some point. But again, to wrap things up, we're gonna sign off here, but just a reminder, write down that email and phone number if this resonates with you and you feel like this is something that you need to do or learn about. Please reach out to Alicia or myself and I can get you in touch. So, all right, everybody, have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for being on today, and we'll see you next week. See ya.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.